Thank you, Nzinga. This is SME On Point. My name is Liabo Setho. Good afternoon. For many local entrepreneurs, collaborative work with big businesses closer to them makes much better sense. But many don't know the guidelines of collaborating and working with bigger corporates or where to begin. The General Manager of Menlyn Park Shopping Centre, Ms. Olive Ndebele, is our guest today. She's going to offer insights on this. Ms. Ndebele, thank you very much and welcome to SME On Point. You manage a monster of a mall. Anyone who's been to Menlyn will tell you that it's very difficult to get lost in there. But you've observed trends in which big businesses and small businesses can collaborate, and you find that there's lack in relationship. Please do tell us about that.
Yeah, so we talk about inclusive economy, and so we want to promote that whole aspect of having an inclusive economy. So we've partnered with Tourism South Africa as well as City of Tshwane because we understand experiences. We're all about lifestyle as a shopping center, and we're about offering our customers lifestyle experiences, memorable experiences. So it makes sense to actually collaborate with tourism. Also, tourism offers a lot of employment. Ourselves as a big business, as a shopping center, over 400 stores, we also offer employment. So it actually makes sense to coexist.
Let's talk about the number of small businesses that are operating inside the mall. Is it inside the mall itself, rather? How easy is it to want to get a shop inside Menlyn Mall? We know that there's also a trend of pop-ups. How does that work, and what is the cost involved?
So there is always a rental cost because the landlord has got to have a return. SMMEs, we've got a significant number of SMMEs, and we pride ourselves with having quite a large number of local designers as actually formal retailers. We also have quite a few pop-up stores. I know I can't mention names at the moment, but we at about 20, so out of 400 stores, so it is quite significant. There will always be a rental element and an affordability element, like in any business.
Yes.
So retail is an art. It's a science, it's a combination of both. So one has to be a retailer at heart and actually learn from the ground up. So at Menlyn, yes, we do offer those platforms, both formally and informally.
Yeah. So take us through the different ways in which smaller businesses can differentiate themselves when they're collaborating with such a business as your mall.
South Africa is a cultural melting pot. So we find that, yes, although we've got international brands in the shopping center, we do need to have a mixture of local brands, local offerings. With Tourism Expo, there's exhibition space throughout the mall. So we offered all the different entrepreneurs an opportunity to showcase their business. It's not only just about showcasing their business, but it's also about giving them access to a larger foot count, which they necessarily would not have if they're in their offices.
Yeah. So as a mall, you are perfectly placed to see the behavior of consumers, right?
Yes.
When the economy takes a dip, you see consumers that they start buying less. What patterns? Yes. What patterns have you observed over time? So
it's a real economy. At the moment, the economy is quite sluggish. Consumer confidence is at possibly its lowest. So as a mall, our tenant mix is such that we have a mixture of premium offering as well as value offering, so that we actually balance the needs and wants of a very diverse customer base.
Let's go through the actual steps of businesses that are watching us from home, from their offices, of how they can collaborate with you as the mall.
So they need to understand their market. It's very important to understand which segment you're targeting, what income group you're targeting, what disposable income, and also the trends that are happening in that particular industry. As a mall, we've got quite a few different industries. I mean, there is banking, there is fashion, there is food, so it's very diverse. So you need to be quite clear about which segment you are in and the competitive landscape of that segment that you are in, and then you definitely are welcome to come to the shopping center, have a clear business plan. And when in business, I think the tip that I really want to give small businesses out there is evolve and adaptability. Adapt all the time, research. We are in an era of personalization.
They do say disrupt or be disrupted.
Disrupt or be disrupted. But at the end of the day, it's human beings. We're all human beings. So what is it that makes your customer feel good? what is that feel-good factor and what is the value to that feel-good factor, and how can you make a living out of that?
Olive Ndebele, thank you so much for joining us on SME On Point. We really value your valuable insights and on how small businesses can collaborate with bigger businesses. Thank you.
Pleasure.
So in our featured business of the week, I visit Lethabo Mokoena, the founder of Walk Fresh, a sneaker washing business. In June 2017, SABC News featured Walk Fresh as one of the promising youth-led businesses that started from humble beginnings in the township of Daveyton in the East Rand. Mokoena's business has since grown. He recently unveiled his third Walk Fresh store inside Sandton City Mall. He hopes his journey can inspire many other entrepreneurs to persevere. This is his story. Lethabo Mokoena, a young black entrepreneur, was determined not to be one of these statistics. The 26-year-old owns a sneaker washing business in Daveyton, east of Johannesburg. When we first profiled Walk Fresh 2 years ago, it was evident that this business held massive potential. This business cleans and refurbishes sneakers and shoes. Mokoena started by using small plastic buckets. He then progressed and purchased his first container. Then it was all systems go.
What we're trying to do is to set the bar higher, to say, look, if you're going to start a business in Daveyton, this is where the standard is. Okay. If you're not trying to come here, then you're playing, you know.
Walk Fresh has since grown and has collaborated with Sports Scene and operating inside its store. It has branches in Daveyton, Soweto, and now Sandton City. Mokoena says his principles remain the same: to employ other young people.
I didn't get here by myself. I mean, even this is a collaboration between us and Sports Scene, you know. So for me, it's just like finding very strategic collaborations. But more than anything, just to treat my business, or treat your business, whoever is aspiring to be an entrepreneur, as a system, which means it has to function without you. You know, you have to be able to do interviews while the business is running, and that takes a lot of trial and error and a lot of research, you know. But once you have the thinking that my business is the system, then you're moving away, especially for township entrepreneurs, you're moving away from the sponsorship mentality where your business is your personal bank account.
Pushed by unemployment and a desire to feed her children, Mama Mokoena has recently started a small cleaning business. She washes dustbins in her community of Pomola, also in the East Rand, for 80 rands a month.
While I wait for my paperwork of a cleaning company to be processed, I thought, let me wash people's dustbins. I charge 20 rand per day. I just need a monthly payment of 80 rand so that I can see how this business can improve. I have hands, I have brains. One has to think outside of the box because it's tough out there.
Because it's very tough outside.
Mokoena says she wants this business to grow and intends to empower her many unemployed neighbors in future. She has identified space nearby where she'll conduct her business.
I want to go to the municipality and ask them for their schedule so I can plan to pick up bins the day after from clients in surrounding townships. I hope my neighbors will support me and help me grow this business.
Lethabo Mokoena shared some advice for Mokoena on this.
Advice I'll give her is just to keep working, but also just to keep track. I think that's the one mistake like that in the township people do, that they don't keep track of what they're doing, because it's easy to see your growth if you're keeping track. If you know how many clients we had last week, then you can say, okay, this week I want 2 more. You know, so just to keep track, even if it's just like a small receipt book, you know, so that way, even if Lethabo comes 2 years later and wants to give you money, you can say to Lethabo, in 2019 I used to clean 10 bins a month. Today I'm cleaning 50 bins. The only way for you to be able to see that is if you keep track of what you're doing.
Do keep track of what you're doing, indeed. Thank you to camera colleagues Busiso Mngedane and Nukumalaje for their part in this week's featured Business of the Week. Our motivational quote for this week reads, "Be patient with growth, be humble in your victories, be teachable in your failures." This is from Tafatswa Ndlovu. On Twitter and on Instagram, he is Tafa Ndlovu. And that's all from SME On Point.